Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Teki, and tonight promises to be an amazing, amazing night. We've got great content coming to you right at the comfort of your own home. And welcome to God's Tabernacle Christian Family Church live broadcast. It's going to be amazing. I'm not coming to you alone. I'm with these beautiful, beautiful ladies. I mean, it's Women's Month and we are celebrating ladies. And I'm just going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves.
Good evening, family. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's such a pleasure. My name is Untatile Muluti. I'm currently doing my grade 12 at Eagles Nest Christian School.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope that you will enjoy. My name is Mpamalaji, and I'm in grade 12. I'm joking, I'm in grade 10. I know it's hard to believe, but then yes, I'm in grade 10, and I attend at Capricorn High School.
To all our lovely viewers at home, I hope you are still blessed to the best of the Lord. My name is Puti Matlamela, and I'm currently studying at the University of Limpopo, doing LLB Bachelor Laws.
Good evening to our viewers at home. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ivy Khosana. I'm working for the Department of Education, be that as it may. Tonight I'm here in my personal capacity. I'm not representing the department. I believe that we will be tackling important and critical issues that we need to know for the learners at high school and those that will be going to tertiary institutions. I hope you're going to have a great and a fruitful time.
We're celebrating women. I mean, you guys are amazing. Tonight we're talking about all things learning, all things school. If you are in matric, you're in grade 12, you're in high school, you're in primary, just make sure you have your notepad, you have your pen ready, because the information that is just going to be flowing, it's going to be so much impactful. It's going to literally transform your life. So keep it locked, keep focus from the start up until the finish. Amen. So we're talking about learning and getting into tertiary institutions and all of that information. And I think what is first important to talk about is the choice of subjects, what one chooses in terms of the subjects. What is very crucial in terms of the choices, in terms of subject that one chooses at high school?
Teki, that is a very good question. It all starts with the choice of subjects. Whatever that you want to study, it all starts with the choice of subjects. Whatever that you want to do as your work one day, it starts with the choice of subjects. So the choice of subjects is very, very important. And it starts when you are in grade 9, when you're supposed to be going to grade 10. That is where you choose your subjects. Now we have got streams that you can fall into. You can pursue the general stream. You can pursue your science stream. You can pursue your commercial stream. Now, if you choose your subjects, you will be guided by your teachers at school. Then you will choose your subjects. Now, if you are in grade 10 and you realize that you have chosen the wrong subjects, it's not a train smash. You have until the end of June to change the subjects. You can change 2 subjects in grade 10. Now you go to grade 11. If you realize that you have chosen the wrong subjects when you are in grade 11, you still have an opportunity to change 2 subjects, but that can happen when you are now at the end of the first term. That is, you have until the 31st of March to change 2 subjects. Then you will go to grade 12. If you are in grade 12, generally, we are not advising anyone to change subjects. But under exceptional cases, you can change 1 subject in grade 12, and you can do it by the end of the month of January. That is by the 31st of January, that is when you can change your last subject. Yes.
And I had, this is very much important. I hope you guys there at home, you're having your notepad, you are writing every single information. And I know that this life is going to be saved, so you can keep on going back to it. jotting down every single piece of information. This is very much critical. And still on the choice of subjects, I heard on Tadile that you're in grade 12. What would you say really motivated you to choose the subjects that you actually took?
Well, Teki, I wasn't as blessed to hear the information that Sis Ivy is talking about. In grade 10, when I was choosing my subjects, I chose all my subjects, and then maths. Maths, I knew I wasn't so good at it. But then since all my friends were doing maths, and I was thinking, yo, in class, I'm going to be bored. And then, I'm going with my friends. Let's go with the flow. And then I went with my friends, and I got there. Let's just say, I saw flames. And then, so I had a conversation with my parents, and I'm so blessed that my parents are very, acceptive, and they can accept any decision that I make, and they don't force me to do any subject, So I chose maths literacy, and I was doing so well at it. So I'm very thankful that I changed the subject quickly, and now I'm in grade 12, and I can now balance all my subjects. So
That is very important. What she mentioned, that she did, in the first place, she did pure maths because of my friends are doing pure maths, and I won't have anyone to sit with in class, and I'm just like going in with them. That is like going in with the flow. I feel like that is what most students are doing. They're going with the flow. What would you really advise in terms of this concept of going with the flow?
It's very dangerous to go with the flow because you don't know their strength and you don't know, what they want to be. So it is very important to make decisions that you can own up so that one day when you have chosen a career, you choose a career that you are strong at. Untatile just reminded me that I actually changed at that time the regulations or the policy was allowing. I actually changed 2 subjects when I was doing matric. We did not have also this information that we are sharing today. And it made a whole lot of difference in my life. Today I'm very happy because I was battling with these 2 subjects and I was just doing them, battling. But after I changed those 2 subjects, today I look up and say, today I look back and say I am very grateful that the subject that I chose, they actually helped me and assisted me to be where I am today. So you are right.
Choice of subjects, that is very important because you don't want to go with the flow. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, understand what you're good at, and understand what is really going to shape your life and actually change your life. That is very important. And I think, Umpo, you are very much listening because you are in grade 10, and what are you getting from this?
Well, I just wanted to ask for the people that want to be doctors, if you know that you want to be a doctor and you know very well that you are not good with physical science, what advice would you give them?
Mpo, I have seen people that said they wanted to be doctors and they are getting 10% in maths and 10% in physical science. Do you know what that means? It means that you will do your matric until you run away. They are failing until now they go, when you fail, there comes an opportunity where you will have to be a repeat part-time student or learner or candidate. Now you will write, you will fail, you will write, you will fail until you change your subject. So it's very important to know. You might not be good at maths, but you will be good at geography, you will be good at other subjects that can actually give you an opportunity to do something that you like, something. It does not mean maths, without maths, there is no life. There is still life without maths. There is still good opportunities without maths. If you're good at maths, yes, pursue it. But if you are not, there are many other subjects that will give you other opportunities in life.
That is very true. It all goes back to don't go with the flow. Know what you want. You know you want to be a doctor, and you're basically doing subjects maybe that are not related to that. This is why we have this conversation tonight, and I hope wherever you are just being impacted. Now, we're talking about requirements into getting into tertiary institutions. Different institutions require different requirements. They want different subjects, they want whatever that it is that you want to start. What basically are the minimum requirements in terms of getting accepted into tertiary institutions?
Okay, we have got three options that we are going to talk about. You can attain your higher certificate. For you to attain your higher certificate, you need to get 3 30s, 30%. You need to get 3 40s, 40%. Then in the 3 40% that I'm talking about, you need to have a home language. And in the 3 30s that we are talking about, you need to have your LOLT. When I'm talking about LOLT, I'm talking about your language of learning and teaching. Then you can fail one subject, but that one subject, you must have had an SBA in it. When you talk about SBA, we are talking about the school-based assessment. That is your test and your assignments and your, projects, all those. All together, we call them SBA. So you need to present an SBA. But otherwise, it's 3 30s and 3 40s. That is for the higher to be able to study for a higher certificate. Now for a diploma, you need 4 40s, and in those 4 40s, you must have also the home language, and in the 30s that you will have, you must have your language of learning and teaching. That is your LOLT. That is very important. Now we go to the third category, that is when we talk about a bachelor. For you to be able to study a bachelor's degree, you need to have 4 50s. Now, initially or in the past, in the 4 40s that you had to have, you needed to have the designated subjects. There were subjects like maths, like physical sciences, like accounting and economics. They used to call them the designated subjects. Now, the designated subjects were the only subjects that could allow you or afford you to have a bachelor. But now things have changed. In the past, we had a designated subject, as I'm saying. We also had the recognized subjects. The recognized subjects, those are subjects like tourism, hospitality, and CAT. So in the past, even if you got 100% in tourism, you got 100% in hospitality, 100% in CAT, they would not give you a bachelor. But now things have changed. You can still get a bachelor if you get 4 50s, regardless of what the subjects are. Of course, we are not counting life orientation. Even though life orientation, you need to pass life orientation for the higher certificate, for the diploma, and for bachelor. Even if you qualify to get a bachelor, you have your 4 50s. If you fail life orientation, you fail matric. That's how important life orientation is. Mpo, you look surprised.
She's like, what is happening? You fail life
You need to pass
orientation.
life orientation.
You need to take it serious. I know a lot of students, they're like, "Psh, okay, life orientation, yeah, LO, it's okay." But it's important, guys, to understand what is being given, all the information. I mean, I'm learning so much things. I'm learning about LOT, which is like LOL, language of learning
and teaching. In
LOL.
most cases, it is English.
In most cases, English. And we're also learning about SBA, that is your school-based
Based
assessment. I mean, I'm learning so much. I trust that you are focused and there home you are learning so much. I mean, Puti, I've learned that you're in varsity, you're already in your tertiary studies. What are some of the requirements that you actually needed in order to get into the faculty that you are in?
Well, with the faculty that I'm doing, the requirement that was needed was that the minimum requirement was that I had to obtain level 5 in English, and then the APA score had to be 30. So to me, that was not much of a challenge because I did very well on my APS score. And English, I also got level 7, so that was not too much of a burden to me.
Speaking levels.
And maybe,
Levels.
maybe to fill up what Puti is saying, we are talking about minimum requirements. Every tertiary institution, they have their requirements. So it's important to know that the minimum requirement might not be able to afford you an opportunity to study towards a particular degree. Universities are talking about APSs. Those are admission point scores.
Yes.
And the university varies. For law, University A could say our APS is 21, whereas the other university can up their standard to make it 30, and the other university can say 38. So when you study, you must make sure that you are not studying towards a minimum requirement, but you are upping your standard so that you will be able to get the requirement. Because remember, you are competing with many other students. So if they say this is the bar, and you are fighting to be here, you are competing with people that are having 7s.
Yes.
You are competing with people whose scores are very high. So it is important. And I always say it is important to know the APS. It is important to know the minimum requirements when you get into grade 10. You find that some of the matrics, they don't even know what the APS is. They cannot even calculate the APS. They don't even know that for them to be able to achieve the bachelor's degree, what do they need? So you need to know. When some people have passed, if you have not met your minimum requirement, even if the school says you have passed, you must know that you have failed because you are not meeting the minimum requirement of what you want to study. So don't focus on the minimum requirement. Work to be above the minimum requirement so that when you drop, at least you are still competing with many others.
That is very true. And I think it's important to know, like you are saying, there are people who actually, students who don't know the minimum requirements. And I think it's very important to know where can I get. I think Puti will have so much information in terms of the fact that you are already in varsity. Where can one actually get those minimum requirements? What is required for me to study this and all those?
Okay, before I can go to that, I want to attest to what Ma'am Ivy is saying in terms of not necessarily focusing on the minimum requirement, but upping your standard. Because I remember during the week of registrations at UL, I went there with my mom, and as I said that my marks were good, I just went there and they did my registrations. I only took about an hour there. But with other people, there were people who even slept there for 7 days because their marks were not good and they wanted to fight for the space. They even went on to registering at other faculties that they didn't even plan on doing. So just make sure that you up your standard. You don't focus only on the minimum requirement, but you also push push yourself and put on much strength so that you can get better marks. And then in terms of where you can check about the minimum requirements, you can always go on the internet. Now we are technologically advanced. You can go and check on the internet. Each and every university has their own website. Just like UL, you can go and check on www.ul.ac.za, or you can ask about other varsities. All varsities have websites, so that is not a problem. You can just check whatever you want to do, check their requirements, check their APS, and you'll be sorted. So, yeah.
You're right, Puti. There is nothing as frustrated as not being able to meet your minimum requirements. You find that this person has passed with a bachelor's degree, a requirement, but they are so frustrated at the beginning of the year because they have not met the minimum requirements. And you know what they do? They, out of frustration, they just go into varsity just because they are ashamed to stay at home. They just go there, they enroll for any other course that they don't like just to run away from the public and the community. Then they frustrate themselves even further. If you have not met the minimum requirements, you can repeat. One other thing that I want to stress, if you have not passed, in the worst case scenario you have not been able to pass your matric, many people do not know. You go back to school and you repeat. There is nothing like after matric you can repeat. You can go back to school, you repeat. Many people are going through the long route of trying to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. And they are failing and failing and failing because you don't have a teacher. It's better to go back to school and repeat the year. You will pass and immediately you will go where you want to go. But if you are going to rewrite, I have seen people rewriting for 4 years and they are still failing and failing and failing. So if you make sure that you up your standard and you meet your minimum requirements, that is very important. And that helps you when you apply for tertiary institutions. You must apply. I believe that all the matrics have applied so far. You don't need to wait for any other thing because you use your grade 11 marks. Grade 11s, it's very, very important. Your grade 11 marks are even more important than your matric marks because those are the marks that are going to assist you to apply. When you apply, they don't look, if you say I'm going to improve in grade 12, you're wasting your time. So in grade 11, that is where you have to apply yourself because the grade 11 report is the critical report that allows you space to get a provisional acceptance. Now, if you have been provisionally accepted, make sure that you work hard to maintain those requirements until you pass at the end of the grade 12 year.
This is super. This is super. I'm telling you, I'm just going to be rewinding this life, and after it has been saved, rewinding it and watching myself doing this. But I feel like it's very important what the information that is just flowing, and if people are focusing, they'll get something very impacting to their lives. I mean, Untadile, you are in grade 12. I think you are able to let us know what have you applied for and how did you apply basically?
Okay, I've been applying online and I applied for public relations. That has been going well. And I like what Sis Ivy is stressing, that don't tell yourself that you're going to work hard in grade 12. Start working hard at whichever grade that you're at. It's very important because you build up that strength. Yeah, so yes. Work hard where you're at. Very hard, yes.
Where you at, work hard. That point where you are, make sure that I hear everyone is speaking about upping your standard. Make sure that you work hard. Nothing will ever replace hard work. Nothing will ever replace hard work. I mean, Mpo, you are in grade 10. You are hearing all this. I feel like it's very good and it's flowing right through to you. What are you getting? What is actually motivating you?
To work hard and to be serious even when I'm in grade 10 because I'm really gonna need what I'm learning in grade 10 in the next grade and all, yeah.
That is very much important. She's learning that she needs to work hard. I mean, next year she's going to grade 11, so you need to get down with it, work hard, make sure that you are up in the standard, make sure that you're working for those marks, that you make sure that you meet your minimum requirements, and over and above, you are basically aiming for much, much better. And I've heard people speak about writing concession, and that has really caught my mind. What is it to write a concession?
That is very important. When we talk about writing concessions, we are talking about a concession is something that comes to alleviate a challenge that is there. We have got some candidates that write slowly. If you are writing slowly and you cannot finish the task that you are given, you can apply to the Department of Education. If you apply to the Department of Education, they will be able with the help of your doctor or your therapist or your psychologist, they will be able to give you a concession. When a paper is 3 hours, you will be given extra time that you can use to finish your exam. If you have if you have got a challenge with your vision, you cannot see properly when everybody is writing that ordinary question paper. If you apply with the Department of Education, they are able to print you a question paper that is enlarged, that is bigger than the others, and you will get extra time. In case just before you write, you lose one of your parents or your guardian, because emotionally you are disturbed, you can apply with the Department of Education, then they will give you extra time. In case you have got a challenge with spelling, I'm not just talking about the spelling, something that, a real challenge that the psychologist will be able to see, it's a condition. True. Then you can apply for a special concession that when they mark your papers, then they will not be able to penalize you for spelling. There are many conditions. There are conditions where maybe you have got epilepsy. If you have got epilepsy, if a condition of epilepsy, if you have got a condition of albinism, then you can be provided with a question paper that is enlarged and you can be given extra time. If you get an accident just before you write, and you can be given a concession. There are many conditions. Anything that will disturb you, anything that will, catch you offside when you are writing. For as long as you've got a backup of your doctor, your psychologist, your therapist, you can get extra time. If you need somebody to read, you have got difficulty in reading, we can arrange for you to get a reader. If you need somebody to write for you, we can get you a scribe depending on your condition. If you need to write in a separate venue where all other learners are writing because you've got a condition where the others will be disturbing, we can arrange for an alternative venue. If you need rest periods, maybe you have got a difficulty of some sort, if you need to rest in between your exam, all that can be arranged. So we need to know that if we have got some difficulties, a concession can be applied for. That is what we talk about when we talk about writing concessions. Some people don't know about this, and learners and candidates are being disadvantaged because they went through some things. Then you are forcing yourself to do. You see candidates writing and they are busy trying to figure out. And when you see a child writing like this, then you know that there's a problem. Then you can always apply and you can be assisted.
Wow, this information, I'm mind blown. I didn't know almost half of these things I didn't know, because this is so much information. My heart is just melting because it's a privilege, really, it's a blessing to have such information that is flowing, and everyone can be so much impacted by everything that we really discussing here. So it's very important to focus and have your notepad, just keep on writing, noting every other information. What do you think, Puti, about the whole idea of this discussion and how impactful it is?
As you said, this is so mind-blowing. Like, it's the first time I'm hearing about this. I don't know about you guys. And as she was talking, I just thought of something. There's this other lecture in my school. At the beginning of the year, he told us that when it comes to him, I will not disclose his identity. He said that when it comes to him, if you miss his test, regardless of the reason he doesn't want to hear, you will not be given a platform or silver platter so that you can write, even if your parents are dead. So I wanted to ask Warren, in this case whereby, let's say the lecturer has spoken with us as his learners, and remember, he was not even asking us, he was telling us that this is how he works. So if, let's say, my parent dies or something, and we have such a lecturer who said he doesn't want to know what happened, what should I do? Can I go to the Department of Education, sorry, not of Health, the Department of Education and tell them my situation and how will I get help and how long does it take?
Remember, I've been talking about issues that relates to the Department of Basic Education. Now, when you are at tertiary, we are talking about Department of Higher Education. But what I know is that even in the Department of Higher Education, there are some concessions that are allowed. Because the candidates, the blind candidates and the partially sighted candidates, even at varsity, they are still allowed to write with braille, they're still allowed to write with their computers. So some of the candidates that are given concessions in high school, it goes further into tertiary institutions. It will just depend on their policies and their regulations. But one needs to investigate what happens.
That is very true. I mean, I think it all applies to all other tertiary institutions that there should be concession and everyone should be given an equal opportunity to learn and to write. I think that is very important to do a lot of investigations. That is why we really need to get ourselves acquainted with a lot of knowledge. I think the Bible was very accurate to say, my people are perishing because of lack of knowledge. That is one of the accurate points that the Bible manifests. And it's amazing, really. And also, there's something called the MEO. The MEO. What is it all about? Because I'm just hearing M, I'm just hearing E, and also O. What is that about?
Okay, some call it MEO, some call it MAYO, some call it modularization.
Mayo.
Now, when we are talking about modularization, you will remember that we have got phases. We have got the foundation phase, we have got the intermediary phase.
Yeah.
Then we have got the senior phase, we have got the GET phase, General Education and Training phase, we have got the FET phase. Now, in each phase, there are a number of years that a learner is supposed to be. Now, the policy says that in each phase, like in the FET phase, you will spend three years in there. Now, there was this policy that you don't have to be in the FET phase for more than, for more than 4 years. So what it meant is you can be, after 4 years, then you have to move from the GET phase. After 4 years, then they must automatically move you to another phase. Now, we call it progression. When you have been progressed, when you have passed, we call it you are promoted to the next phase.
Yeah.
Now, if you did not pass, but you have to progress because you have overstayed the number of years in that phase, we say you have been progressed. Now, when you have been progressed, when you come to the next level, like you go into matric, you have been progressed from grade 11 to grade 12 because of this policy. Then what happens is you are given 2 years to do matric instead of 1. The first year, you will have to write all the subjects until the prep exam. And after that, if you, in the subjects that you have not done well, you are given an option only if you have written the prep exam. You are given an opportunity to write 3 subjects, then the rest you can do the following year, just to ease the tension of the people that were progressed. Now, the following year, you will write the next 3, then you will move on. But now, because the system was abused, the modularization is ending this year in 2020. From 2021, there will not be Mayo students, there will not be modularization. So it was meant for the candidates that were, or the learners that were progressed. So we are not going to have it coming to 2021.
Wow, that is so much information. That is
Yeah,
why.
actually, Mayo stands for multiple examination opportunities. So you were given multiple opportunities to
Opportunities.
pass your grade 12.
Yes.
Yes.
That is so much information, and I really thank God for this technological
What did I say?
advancement.
Not multiple extended opportunities.
Extended
Yes.
opportunity, multiple extended
Extended
opportunities.
opportunity.
That's your mayo.
Yes.
Multiple extended opportunities. I think that is so much impactful information, and I'm just super much grateful to God for technological advancement. I mean, if you didn't hear her well after the live broadcast, you can still go back and just rewind and just maybe play it slowly so that you can get the information, so that you have knowledge, because without knowledge, people perish. That is what the Bible says. And I think it's very amazing that now you've reached a level where you are in tertiary institution, and a whole lot still going to happen. It's like it's the start of a journey that is maybe unknown to you. And I think to Untatile, because next year she'll just be going there. I think it's very much important to understand the tertiary environment, which is probably very completely different from the high school environment. And
Yes, Teki, maybe before we, sorry to interject you, but before we get there, there is one thing that I want us to differentiate. We have got the National Senior Certificate and the Senior Certificate. The difference is the National Senior Certificate applies to those candidates that are full-time that are in class. Now we have got the full-times and the part-time ones. Now the Senior Certificate, if you have written matric in the past and you did not finish, you are given an opportunity to write exam in June. Those adult students, those that did not complete their matric, you are still given an opportunity to write the SC, the Senior Certificate. It has got now all the subjects that the NSC has, except for the practical subjects. So if you quit school in grade 9, you can still go and do it. If you have done ABET, which many people mistaken for matric, when they come to put the subjects together, what do I want to say? When they want to combination, sorry, that's what I wanted to say. When they want to combine, others would come wanting to combine the ABET subjects with the matric subjects. You cannot combine. ABET is at the level of grade 9. Now, if you have passed ABET and you want to do your matric, you go through the SC, the Senior Certificate. For you to be able to write the Senior Certificate, you must be 21 and above. You must have passed grade 9. Then you can still pursue your matric certificate, which you cannot do when you are in class. I just thought that was important information that we needed to
important.
relate. Yes.
That was super important to learn about all that you can still write your SC and all that.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
I hear you say you can do your SC if you didn't finish matric, or you didn't, maybe you last attended grade 9 and then you
Yes.
left school.
Yes.
So does it also apply to people who did attend their grade 12 but failed and then left school for maybe some period of time? Can they also do the SC?
Definitely, because they cannot go back to class, then they can enroll with the SC. But one mistake that I see people doing is that a person shall have passed grade 9 and they are desperate to have matric. You know what they do? They go and register for the Senior Certificate. When they register 6 subjects at a go. If you register 6 subjects at a go, you are not going to make it. So it's important to take it bits and pieces of it. The first year, you can do your 2 subjects and see your strength. You can even start with 1 because you don't have a teacher before you and you have been out of school for a long time. So people register 6, they fail this year, they register 6 next year, they fail until they run away. But if you register 1 and you pass it, you are encouraged, then you can go to 2. Then you can do the next 2. But if you're going to do it all at the same time, it is not going to assist. But for the senior certificate, you must have passed grade 9, you must be 21 and above, and you must not have your SBA. The SBA is for those that are still in school. Some of our candidates, they become expectant. After being expectant from school, they realize that they don't want to go back to school because, you know, they are ashamed. Then they decide to go to SC. If you are not above, if you are not 21 and above, you are not allowed to register for SC unless you have got critical reasons that must be approved by the head of department. Otherwise, if you are MPO, you cannot say, I want to pass matric quickly, I'm leaving grade 10, I'm going to register for
That is what
SC.
they are avoiding.
You must not go, there is no shortcut. We are going to look at your age, we are going to realize that you are still young, we will say go back to school. If you are Untatile after writing matric this year, she's still going to have a shelf life, an SBA shelf life of 3 years. Now, if your SBA is still in the shelf life, you will not go to register for SC because we are trying to push it for adults and not learners that wants to take shortcuts. There are some who will enroll for part-time in the NSC, repeat part-time, and they would also want to go and register for SC so that they can make it snap. It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way. There is no shortcut.
No shortcuts.
No shortcut, I'm telling you. So we talked about getting into tertiary institutions, the minimum requirements, what is needed, and now you're at a level where you are in the tertiary environment. And I think it's very important because it appears to be completely different from what you know. For instance, for Untatile, to go into tertiary institution level, and it's completely different from the whole school level. I mean, put you being at already at tertiary, what would you advise in terms of people who are actually prospective students in tertiary?
Well, varsity life is so different, as you have mentioned, completely different. I was thinking about it, trying to find a word that can differentiate between primary, secondary, and tertiary. And the only word I can find is different. There's no other way I can explain it. So for people who are going there, varsity life is different, it's fast, and the freedom is just too much. So what I can advise people who will be going there is just that you should know who you are, know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you'll get lost in the crowd, and getting lost in the crowd is something that shouldn't even be a wish, because if you get lost, it's gonna be so hard to turn back. So the only thing that I can tell you guys is that know yourself. If you know yourself, the challenges that you will come across, the things that you will come across, you will pass them through naturally because you'll be knowing yourself. There will not be any obstacle that can overcome you. So, yeah.
Very important that what she mentions, that you must know yourself. I think that is very critical in terms of know your standpoint, know where you stand, because there's a say that if you don't know what you stand for, you basically be falling for everything because you yourself don't have a defined standpoint and you'll get lost in the crowd. That is true. So for some of the experiences at varsity, like she's saying, it's a lot of freedom. It's a lot of, my mom's not there, my dad's not there, my sister's not there, everyone is basically not there. It's you, and most probably your friends are not there, or if they're there, there are few of them, and you're just trying to adapt into this new, different environment. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you were blessed. I hope your life is going to transform. I'm encouraging each and every one of you, especially if you are still in school, just go back to the life. I know that it's going to be saved. You can go back to the life, rewind it, just listen to it softly, listen to it, writing notes, and this information is basically going to transform your life. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host with the most, Teki. Until next time, we are out.